You mentioned the song that wasn't on the album that you initially got. So let's get to that because the book starts
Mhm.
on July 28th, 1992. There's a news
Right.
conference in Los Angeles at I think it's pronounced the Sofitel Hotel. Is
That's
that,
right. Yeah.
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 Body count by now had caused the music industry's biggest media storm. And you write, quote, other artists might have craved the notoriety or played it up for publicity, but at the Sofitel, Ice-T put a halt to it. Talk about the song that caused the media uproar and what he decides to do as a result, and how that specific decision was met with criticism from the fans and the media. It was like he was in a no-win situation.
That song was called Cop Killer. It became a part of a big controversy. So that, he was playing it on Lollapalooza for about a year. And that's the last song on the record. Right after the record comes out, the Rodney King verdict comes in, LA breaks out in violence. There's a presidential election year. There are a lot of people focusing on, police brutality and issues and stuff like that. Rap is kind of like a big, scary buzzword. There's family values issues. And even though it's not a rap song, he gets kind of targeted. A teen girl brings the record home. Her father's a policeman in Texas, and he prints in the police newsletter, like, this is a major record. And the record has had sort of a cult success rate. It does about as well as you expect someone who is on that first Lollapalooza and collaborating with Henry Rollins to do. It's sort of like a cult thing, but it's not kind of Guns N' Roses numbers, right? So it gets in the hands of this policeman. He puts it in a newspaper. It gets passed on to another policeman who's in charge of a union in Texas, and it breaks out into a big nationwide discussion. The presidential candidates comment on it. The news hour shows comment on it. It's in the New York Times, CNN, MTV. There are death threats, there are bomb threats, there's a lot going on. And Ice-T takes the song off the record. He throws a press conference, he shocks people. I note in the book that he probably does the thing that would offend the most people, right? His fans are unhappy about it. They think he chickened out. His supporters, the people, the rappers think that this is going to be the end of hip hop because there's going to be more censorship. The police are not happy about it because they think that there should be a bigger apology. So he basically offends the most people when he takes the song off the record. I think I'm a little bit like the Paul Newman character Cool Hand Luke, right? Where people like him because he's a rebel, and then they're disappointed when he seems to cave in, right? When he seems to compromise his transgressive behavior. But then his compromises turn out to be even more rebellious than initially seen. Just a few days after that, he's on the cover of Rolling Stone. He's wearing a policeman's uniform, and people are furious at him. He could have been giving the finger; it would have been less offensive. It's more offensive that he's doing that. And he takes the song off the record, and that gets more attention paid to it. The sales go up. It becomes this kind of legendary status that the song that actually got taken off the record. And yeah, he gets a lot of bad press, and a lot of people are upset with him for taking it off initially. But this didn't go in the book. I saw there was something like Hustler magazine called him like the pussy of the year or something like that. He had sort of there was this
Wow.
sort of, yeah, exactly, right. And there was this big he said something about him and Chuck D had an interview where they talked about it and said something like, look, people who are not in the war shouldn't comment on it, right? You don't know what it's like to get those death threats. You don't know what it's like to have the people you care about threatened. The Source magazine was like, isn't that some kind of juice, some kind of stats? And Icy's like, yeah, the kind that will get you killed. One thing I'll add to that is I did not get permission for this, but I initially wanted the book to have an epigraph from the artist Basquiat, who said, I cross out words so you see them more. Right. So you pay more attention to the things that are crossed. Like, what's he hiding there? What did he change? What did he get out of that? And I think that by taking the song off the record, initially it looks like he lost the battle, but in the long run, people pay more attention to that song.